Good evening. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for August 17th, 2023. This time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Commissioners who are present for this evening meeting are at City Hall. We also have staff from the city attorney and clerk's offices, as well as city planning department. If you're joining us from Zoom this evening, we can see that you are here. You may observe the meeting. However, your ability to be seen on screen and talk will be muted. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, you will be unmuted and then be able to comment. Please note that we cannot take questions until the public testimony portion. If you have a process question during the meeting, please email cityclerk@meridiancity.org. They will reply as quickly as possible. With that, let's begin with a roll call. Madam Clerk? Oh, Mr. Clerk, sorry.
Either one is good. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Rivera,
Present.
Commissioner Lorcher,
Here.
Commissioner Stoddard,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Seal.
Here. All right, first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Need to announce that Windrow Neighborhood, file number H 2023-0031 will be open for the sole purpose of continuing to a regularly scheduled meeting. We open for that purpose only, so if there's anybody here to testify, we will not be taking public testimony on that this evening. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second.
And moved and seconded to adopt the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and we have 3 items on the consent agenda. First is to approve the minutes of the August 3rd, 2023 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We also have the findings of fact and conclusions of law for file number H 2022-0032 for the base jujitsu at Hickory, and file number H 2023-0034 for New Horizon Academy. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented? Do
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, at this time, I'd like to briefly explain the public hearing process. We will open each item individually and begin with the staff report. Staff will report their findings on how the item adheres to the comprehensive plan and the Unified Development Code. After staff has made their presentation, the applicant will come forward to present their case and respond to staff comments. They will have 15 minutes to do so. After the applicant has finished, we will open the floor to public testimony. Each person will be called on only once during the public testimony. The clerk will call the names individually of those who have signed up in advance to testify. You'll need to state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to address the commission. If you have previously sent pictures or a presentation for the meeting, it will be displayed on the screen and you will be able to run the presentation. And there will be assistance from the clerk if needed. If you have established that you are speaking on behalf of a larger group like an HOA where others from that group will allow you to speak on their behalf, you will have up to 10 minutes. After all of those who have signed up in advance have spoken, we will invite others who may wish to testify. When you're finished, if the commission does not have questions for you, you will return to your seat in chambers or be muted on Zoom and no longer have the ability to speak. And please remember, we generally do not call people back up. After all testimony has been heard, the applicant will be given another 10 minutes to come back and respond. When the applicant is finished responding to questions and concerns, we will close the public hearing and the commissioners will have the opportunity to discuss and hopefully be able to make final decisions or recommendations to city council as needed. So at this time, I would like to open the public hearing for item number H 2023-0031 Windrow Neighborhood for a continuance to September 7th, 2023.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Lorcher.
I motion that Windrow Neighborhood file number H 2023-0031 be continued for renotice for September 7th, 2023.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we continue file number H 2023-0031 to the date of September 7th, 2023. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Item is continued. I'd like to open the public hearing for item number H 2023-0035 for Bridge Tower Marketplace. And we will begin with the staff report.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Tonight, we are here for a request for a conditional use permit to construct a drive-through, which is part of a mixed-use commercial retail development project that is composed, excuse me, that is composed of 2 single-story buildings totaling 12,266 square feet. The building is located on approximately 1.62 acres of land in the CN zoning district. The conditional use permit is for the building located at 3137 West Quintel Drive, which is approximately 5,826 square feet and is located within 300 feet of another drive-through and a residential area. And as you can see on this aerial map, this is the property that's in question. This is the bank that has a drive-through, and this is a residential area that is adjacent to within the 300 feet. The site layout for the proposed building includes a stacking lane that provides a queuing space for up to 5 vehicles, which is located before the drive-through window. The drive-through itself starts at the northeast end of the building along the private drive and exit at the northwest side onto the private drive to the north of the property. If there is excessive overflow in the drive-through lane, it will stack onto the private drive to the north or on the commercial drive aisle to the east, rather than spilling onto North 10 Mile Road. The concept plan shows that the stacking lane is separate from the drive aisles and parking, which allows easy access to the rest of the development. And again, this conditional use permit is only for the drive-through. The staff has already reviewed the proposed plans and building elevations for landscaping, so a certificate of zoning compliance and design review has already been approved for this project. These are the elevations for the proposed project. And so at this time, staff is recommending approval with the conditions, approval for the CUP for the drive-through with the conditions listed in the staff report. And I will entertain any questions that the commission has.
All right, thank you very much. Would the applicant like to come forward? Yes, ma'am. I have questions. I'll need your name and address for the record, please.
Cherry Moore, 22033 Eel Lane in Middleton, 83644.
First question is, what is the business going to be that has the drive-through?
A potential, we don't have a lease signed yet, but it is a potential mixed beverages similar to Dutch Brothers, but it's not.
Okay. So not necessarily coffee, but like a
It's not
Soda-licious or
coffee.
something?
Yeah, it's all of the smoothies, fruity flavored drinks.
Gotcha. Okay. That was my only question that I had, really. So commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant or staff?
Sure.
Commissioner Smith, go ahead.
Yeah, my only real question on this is knowing that type of business, knowing kind of some of the Dutch Brothers locations with stacking lanes, emergency exits and things like that. I know some of the earlier concepts for Dutch Bros maybe didn't have as much as efficient planning for, inflow and outflow during peak hours of consumption. And so I'm just curious what the considerations are that might have gone into that. Especially if, that tenant might not be guaranteed to be in that location. And if there are other tenants that are potentially there, have there been considerations for peak hour entry and exit onto 10 Mile stacking and queuing kind of off of those streets and kind of what considerations have been made?
If I understand your question correctly, the only consideration is that we do have that street Quintel, there it is, that is to the north. And then, of course, we've got the drive there to the east. So that should create a significant flow of traffic and efficient.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
And is the expectation in the design, I'm not sure I see anything that limits cross access, but is the intention to make most of the access come on and off of Quintel rather than 10 Mile directly?
There's no direct access off of 10 Mile.
Okay,
except
no,
to
no, okay.
Quintel.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much. That's the answer to my questions.
Anybody else? Okay, we might make this real short. Mr. Clerk, is there anybody signed up to testify on this application?
Mr. Chair, there were no signups.
Does anybody in the audience want to come up and testify? Oh, it's really fun. All right, if there are no further questions for the applicant, I'd like to thank you very much. And no questions from the audience, no question from commissioners. I will take a motion to close the public hearing for file number H 2023-0035.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing for file number H 2023-0035, Bridge Tower Marketplace. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Public hearing is closed. For me, this is, I mean, it's pretty straightforward what's going on here. I will say about the way this is designed, I like the way that it's designed and the concept, and I've seen that before where the businesses that are there can operate completely independent of that drive aisle. So I really like that, where people are going to be pulling in and pulling out. You're not going to have to be, obviously you're going to have to watch out for the cars that are there, but that drive aisle just being completely separate from it, I like that aspect of this. So I'd like to see more of that, to be perfectly honest. But always happy to see businesses coming in and opening up. This is near to me, so if you have good bike parking, we'll probably come by and check it out. Any other comments? No, I'll take a motion. More than happy to listen to anybody make one of those.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Smith,
after considering all staff applicant and public testimony, I move to approve file number H 2023-0035 as presented in the staff report for the hearing date of August 17th, 2023, with no additional modifications.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to approve file number H 2023-0035 for Bridge Tower Marketplace. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. File is approved. Thank you very much. Let Sonia get seated. No pressure. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing for item number H 2023-0037 for the Klein Home Edition. We'll begin the staff report.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the next application before you tonight is a request for a conditional use permit. This site consists of 0.11 of an acre of land. It's zoned R4 and it's located at 224 West Cherry Avenue. It's in a high-density residential comprehensive plan designation. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to expand the existing non-conforming use, which consists of an addition to the existing home to add a fourth bedroom with only one garage parking space instead of the required 2 parking spaces as required. The applicant currently has a 3-bedroom, single-family home with a single car garage on the subject property. The existing use is considered a non-conforming use because it doesn't comply with the off-street parking standards, which requires 4 parking spaces for 3 and 4 bedroom units with at least 2 of those spaces in an enclosed garage. Other spaces may be enclosed or a minimum 10-foot by 20-foot parking pad. Non-conforming uses are allowed to continue as long as the use remains lawful and is not expanded or extended. If expanded, approval of a conditional use permit is required as proposed. Only one garage space exists with a parking pad for 1 car in front of the garage, and an approximate 13-foot by 40-foot long gravel driveway exists on the east side of the parking pad and garage, which will accommodate parking for 2 vehicles. On-street parking is also available. The applicant states that it's not possible to add on to the existing garage due to the lot size constraints, which would make compliance with the side yard setback requirements infeasible. For this reason, and because there is adequate area on the site to park 4 vehicles with on-street parking for guests, staff is supportive of the request. Written testimony was received this afternoon from Carrie Vigil. She is in support of the proposed conditional use permit. She does have a separate request for the city to conduct an impact assessment of this urban renewal district area for any violations to the Fair Housing Acts as amended, Title 8 of the 1968 Civil Rights Act, specifically pertaining to accessibility of roads and sidewalks on the following protected classes: familial status, race, national origin, and disability, and immediately remedy any potential violations of the act. Staff is recommending approval of the proposed conditional use permit with the conditions in the staff report. Staff will stand for any questions.
Thank you very much. The applicant like to come forward? Good evening, sir. We'll just need your name and address, which we already have, but we'll have it again.
Yeah, good evening. Brian Klein and 224 West Cherry Avenue, Meridian 83642. You want me to share? Or you can ask questions?
You're more than welcome to share what you have in mind here. That's how it usually rolls along here.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
if not, you saw that doesn't necessarily have to happen either.
Yeah, I think Sonia captured what's going on pretty adequately. Our family just grew. We added another little baby who's here with us this evening. And that brings the total to 4 kiddos in the house, and we just need a little bit more space, and we'd love to stay in our neighborhood. Meridian's been an awesome place to live the last 10 years, and we're hoping that we can bump our house out and accommodate our needs. So, yeah.
Understood. Commissioners, we have any questions of the applicant or staff? None at all? Do we have anybody signed up to testify?
Mr. Chair, we do not. The applicant signed up, but
Okay.
he's here.
Would any of the family members or any of the other people in the audience like to testify? All right, no takers on that tonight, so. Great. So, okay, with that, I appreciate your application, your time coming in, and I will take a motion to close the public hearing for H 2023-0037.
So moved.
All right, thank you, sir. It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing for file number H 2023-0037 for the Klein Home Edition. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Public hearing is closed. And I just have one thing to say. I'm not in opposition to this. However, because we are, I mean, it's no secret that housing and rental properties are incredibly expensive in the valley. So the only concern I have with this is allowing this to go forward is that if at a future time the use on the property increases, meaning that they decide to run a business out of here, or it becomes a rental property or something along those lines, we're just deficient in parking. And as a body, as a person on this commission and as a body, we're usually pretty hard on people for parking. We're pretty rigid about it. So it's the only thing in the back of my mind that's, the what if scenario with it. But other than that, I have no issues with it. I mean, I completely understand why you're doing what you're doing. But we do have parking problems that are kind of everywhere in Meridian. So I just wanted to put that on the public record, just so it's there. Anybody else?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Smith?
Yeah, I'm in full support of this. I think it's great. I guess just to capture it for the record that neighbors are here and in support. It's always good to see. I do think, I believe I heard there's footprint for 4 spaces. And so I agree with Mr. Chair with your broader assessment in terms of parking. But I also, on a bit of a contrasting position, I do wonder the extent to which a planning and zoning commission hearing and things like that is necessary for some things like this. And I wonder, if there's potential, I know the UDC is being looked at and potential improvements. And, I know there are some municipalities that have, by right ADUs within certain things or by right duplexes. And this is far short of that. And so I wonder if there's an ability to look at code. So, and maybe look at opportunities for if there are certain footprint for parking But a garage is not, possible, maybe folding that into some code so that, people like this fine family don't have to, come out on a Thursday night, and, go through all these steps in order to expand the footprint. Because I think, I think the applicant made a great point of, housing being expensive, and we want families to be able to live and grow in Meridian. And the alternative, if they're not able to, find somewhere that's affordable here, is to move to another location, and that's not necessarily what we want. So I agree with the parking considerations, but I do wonder if parking is not as much of a concern for the property, if there's some ability to look at code and potentially modify code to, we can account for parking footprint, for off-street parking, the footprint, and there's adequate, maybe allowing some by right expansion or things like that, just to make that easier to conform with, the existing, to balance those tensions that are rising in terms of density, and not requiring, significantly higher density in certain areas. If we can maybe allow for modest increases in some, for some homeowners where they're looking for it. So that's just my spiel, but I'm absolutely in support of this, and projects like it.
Commissioners, anything else? All right,
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Lord, you go right ahead.
after considering all staff, applicant, and public testimony, I move to approve file number H 2023-0037 as presented the staff report for the hearing date of August 17th, 2023, with no modifications.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve file number H 2023-0037 for the Klein Home Edition. Did say approve, not recommend to approve, correct?
I said approve,
Okay, thank you.
didn't I?
For
Second.
the date of September 7th, 2023, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. And with that, I will take one more motion.
Mr. Chair,
Go right ahead.
move to adjourn.
It's been moved to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.